Welcome to the PAMU podcast, your go-to neoliberal getaway.
Welcome to the PAMU podcast. Welcome to the PAMU podcast.
Welcome to the PAMU podcast.
Welcome to the PAMU podcast.
Now, sit back and imagine. You are in your designated cubicle, wasting your physical energy.
For the glory of the corporation.
For the glory of the corporation.
For the glory of the corporation. For the glory of the corporation. Take a 5-minute lunch break and enjoy.
Welcome to the PAMU podcast.
Jazz Club.
Right. Let's see. Who wants to start?
Yeah.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are on the PAMU podcast. We got John McAfee. I still don't even know how we got John McAfee on, but I'm incredibly so excited that you actually came on. I'm so happy.
Very special instance.
Okay.
This is actually
Listen, if my wife sets it up, I'll be on. I get beaten very soundly if I don't make my appointment. So
that's very generous. Very generous of you. I mean, I understand your motivation. Having to kind of try to escape some kind of mainstream talking points. Because I personally.
Here's the issue. People go, why are you talking? I mean, I don't care how many listeners a person has. So you can have 5, that's fine with me. What's more important to me is that we have a real conversation. As me, real, John McAfee, and you guys as real as you can be. And we talk. Now, isn't that 1,000 times better, even if only 5 people listen, than being on CNN, where 500,000 people are listening, and no one knows who I am, because you've got to be act appropriately. I can't say anything that might offend. I can't say anything shocking, and the conversation is stilted, and it's usually staccato fire questions, and no, that doesn't tell anybody anything about either me or you guys, does it? No. This is far better.
No, I have to. Oh yeah, I have to say I completely agree. But in fairness, CNN is not the highest bar. But
Yeah.
There's what?
Oh no, I agree. This is much better. I was just saying being better than CNN is not a very high bar to
Well, they do have some degree of material success. So
yeah,
I guess that's what's important for them. I mean, I really appreciate that you would come on. I mean, you're one of those people that is very honest, very truth to power, and I think we genuinely need more people as public figures like that.
yeah, well, unfortunately, people like me just can't be presidents. You need to understand that. I'm John McAfee. If anybody out there believes that I have any chance of being president, then stop smoking rainbows, move out of your mom's basement, and see the world. There's no chance. However, I do get to I get the national stage, or I will next year when the debates start, and I get to tell about the things that I think need to be addressed, and those things are really, it doesn't matter who's president. Please get this through your heads, people. Just look at history for the past 50 years. Does it matter? No. All the presidential candidates who promise Eden, the return to Eden, blue skies and bluebirds singing and strawberries, it never comes true. Obama came closest by actually getting Obamacare through, but did it matter? No, it was dismantled immediately by the next administration, so nothing changed. It's not the president, it's not Congress, it's not the Senate. These are mere shadows of the real control of America, and that control is the senior members of the 2 political parties that are not elected, but have been there for years or more, and our covert agencies, the CIA, the NSA, military intelligence. Why are they so important? Because when a president sits down in the Oval Office, a new one, do you think they tell them? No, they don't tell them anything, not anything of value. They just hope, let's hope Trump does not tip the apple cart. Let's let him do whatever he can do. How do they control him? Not through threats, not through guns, but through advice. Keep in mind, they are the keepers of truth, but they never disseminate it. They have the truth, but they disseminate disinformation. And so, do you think, for example, if there were aliens and the Americans knew about it, that they would tell presidents? No, not a need to know. I mean, why confuse things by telling this poor bastard he can't do anything? So seriously, this is the problem. We're living in a police state manned by our covert agencies, and we are constantly under surveillance because they want to know that you, as an American citizen, are not a problem. We don't know. You might be a terrorist. You kind of look like a terrorist the way you comb your hair. So we're going to watch your sorry ass until we figure out that you're not. Isn't that insane? Because that's what's happening.
I mean,
they're getting all.
It's like it's like very creepy. Like the state's like capacity to just like form like the presidential opinion once they get into office. Like a lot of like it's like they change as a person. So I want to ask you, like, how does it feel to live in America where the government is essentially a middleman, like a legal middleman?
Well, you know, first of all, I'd like to say that you're very articulate. That was a very articulated question. Secondly,
thank you.
I don't live in America. I can't live in America. I'm wanted in America. That's why I'm in an undisclosed location in an undisclosed part of the world. And I have to live this way because I am on the front line speaking out.
But you feel a connection. You feel a connection to your homeland, to your birthplace, America.
God, I love my homeland. Jesus is where I grew up, guys. It's where I kissed my first girl. You know, I was 12. It's where I got my first job, went to school, got married, traveled, saw the country. Fuck yes, I love America, which is why I'm fighting for it. If I didn't give a shit, we're living in a very nice location. If I didn't give a shit, I would just go off and fish. Because this is not fun for me. This is an obligation for my children and grandchildren, and you will eventually have children and grandchildren, perhaps. It's for those people that I'm doing this. And I don't live in America. I love America, and I want America to return to sanity. We have a government that treats us like children, that conditions us and trains us and watches over us, decides what is good for us, and then tells us what to do. Good God, that's the reverse of how this country started. It started with the government being the real servant of the people. You guys go out and build some roads, build a standing army, whatever. And they obeyed. Their function was a tool of society, not a controller of society. And in the intervening 200 and almost 50 years, it has flip-flopped. We need to get back to a sane relationship between the people and our government. We created our government. Good God, they belong to us.
That also means that there's been 200 years of time for the political elite to entrench themselves. So how do we fight a power like that?
Vote them all out, all of them. Because if you truly want to eradicate the corrupt shadows behind the government that pull the strings, get all of the people that allow that to happen out. I mean, do you think that they could do that if a president came in and said, well, fuck this, I'm getting rid of you guys? President Kennedy tried it. He was not successful, was he? Dwight Eisenhower in 1950 warned us, please God, people, watch out for the military-industrial complex and the CIA.
That was a great speech.
Has become too powerful. Now that was almost 60 years ago that he said that. Only one president has challenged the CIA completely, and he was assassinated. Do you think others are going to try? How about we replace everybody? Because seriously, you think, well, there's a good congressman. That bullshit. If you've been in there for more than a week, you have been tainted already. You've been taken aside by the powers that be and say, son, this is how it works here in Congress. We've been here a long time. This is a cushy job. If you're lucky, you'll keep on getting reelected. And we were all broke when we came in, but there's not a single member of Congress today that's not a multimillionaire. And that is the truth. That is the truth. Ask yourself, people, why would someone spend tens of millions of dollars to gain a position which paid a tiny fraction of that? Do you understand insanity? Why? It's because there must be something more than the salary that they're after. And if you're after that, then you should not be the president. You shouldn't be in Congress. We need people that we have to, bring kicking and screaming into the presidency. I don't want to do it. We don't care. You're the best man for the job. Okay. It's only 4 fucking years. Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
No,
I like that.
So, get real, people. Get real. Look at things logically and truly. We have an insane government and an insane society that's putting them in there. But use your common sense. Please, God, what type of people are we putting in? The ones that are willing to spend millions to get there. Wake up, America.
I mean,
all right, so I have actually 2 questions picking up from...
Two? No, we only get one at a time.
Well, so okay, then I'll just say the first one, and then after that I can say the second one. But so, as you mentioned, near the beginning, you have no illusions that you're going to win the presidency, and for example, Ross Perot, I think, who was the third party who has won the most votes, he didn't even win a single electoral vote, right?
Who is it?
Ross Perot, leader of the Reform Party in the 90s. Was it in the 90s?
Yeah, in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so given that you already are starting from the position that you're not going to win, what would be your measure of success? What would have to happen for you to say, my campaign, my 2020 presidential campaign was a success?
Well, I would say that if even 10 people truly woke up to see the reality of their existence under that government and in relation to that government, then that's a success. And please, success is not going to be some panacea where we all end up in El Dorado and live happily ever after. No, success is going to be where we wake up to the point that enough of us go, no, I'm not having it anymore. And then it changes. Now, we don't have to have a plan. Everyone's got a plan. We've got a plan for this, got a plan for that, got a plan for the Middle East. But don't ask me, especially the Middle East. I don't speak Arabic or Farsi. I know nothing much about the religion other than what I have read. Nothing about political alliances, history, or culture. Neither does anybody else, really, who is an American citizen running for president. Then why the fuck are we involved over there? Why the fuck are we involved in most of what we're doing in the world, which is where all of our goddamn money's being spent to get the American dream worldwide? Well, if this is the American dream, where citizens are children and governments are masters, then this is merely a different name for totalitarianism. And if everybody woke up, we wouldn't need a plan. We're in a movie theater and we're all watching the screen. It's an enthralling movie, and somebody notices a fire. What do? Do you sit down and go, "Oh, sweetie, there's a fire here. What are we going to do? What's the first thing we do here?" No, you yell fire, and somehow we all get the fuck out. All right. As soon as everybody's aware that there's a fire, I don't have to drag people asleep to the exits. No, they make their own way. That's what this is. Wake up, see the truth, and then nature will take its own fucking course, people.
That too. I want to kind of like follow up on that. Is in terms of like ending the forever wars. I understand there's no real like justification for America to be in those places aside from like resource extraction. But how do you feel about the growing dominance of China?
Well, I mean, throughout history, I mean, there has never been a stable world. There has never been a lengthy period of time where everybody's happy and nobody's pushing on anybody else's border. No one's trying to greedily take your resources. That never will happen. And China's growing dominance has a lot to do with the Chinese culture. Has a lot to do with their work ethic, and a lot to do with the fact that their culture is the second oldest culture in the world. 5,000 years ago, Chinese were weaving silk, manufacturing musical instruments, reciting poetry, creating works of art which were monumentally beautiful 5,000 years ago. Whereas European ancestors, we were still living in trees or at least in caves, for fuck's sake. So it has a lot to do with that. If you want an explanation for why they are now coming into dominance, because they fluctuate into dominance or have fluctuated hundreds of times over the thousands of years. What's more important is not what do I think of China, but what do I think of the things we can do something about, which is our own government. And because really, I can't vote in China. I don't think anybody can vote in China. It doesn't matter. We can vote in America. We can walk in the street with signs. You know, we can talk to our neighbors and friends and people over dinner, to our family, and tell them what I'm telling you. Wake up, people. We're headed for disaster, a disaster where we end up as cattle, as owned property to a government. And if you think we're not close there now, let me ask you a question. Who owns your body? Is it you or the government?
Well, I'm officially the government's property, you know, on paper, but I feel like I own
You're
myself.
not. Nowhere on paper are you the government's property. Nowhere in our Constitution are you the government's property. Our Constitution frees you and gives you the infinite right to life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, without any interference, least of all from the government. So no, sir, you are not on paper. You are your own person. You live in your body and are responsible for it. And yet, if you wanted to take a joint right now in, I don't know, give me a city where marijuana still has 3 years in prison for possession, okay? And you whipped it out and smoked it, what would happen? You would find out that it ain't your body. I'm sorry, it's your body, and you did buy the weed, and it is your lips smoking it and your fingers holding it, but no, you may not. Please God.
Yeah.
Then it is the beginning.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like I'm pretty sure for a lot of people it feels like they're just merely the government's property. You know?
Yeah, but we aren't. Please God, don't ever think that on any kind of legal document or paper you are the government's property, because you are not. Please God, you are yours. You are a free human being with all of the responsibilities and pitfalls that come with that, but you're free. And the government is trying to remove that freedom. Do not let this happen, people.
So other than other than what people can do in terms of voting, etc., what would you say is like the most important institutional change that would have to happen for to remove the government's ability to do those kinds of things?
Well, I think the first thing we have to do is create our own financial freedom, because you are controlled by finance. If you don't have the dollar or a euro or a pound, you can't pay rent. You can't buy a car, can't send your kids to school, can't buy clothes, can't do anything. Finances control your whole life. And therefore, whoever controls that basic unit of exchange is controlling your life. And with the US dollar, for example, the Fed can increase the supply, making all of your hard savings evaporate or shrink. They can decrease supply. They can monitor where you're spending it, where it's coming from. That freedom. With cryptocurrency, we have that. With some of them, with private coins like Monero, with distributed exchanges, it can't be shut down ever. We have now an opportunity to take control for the first time in human history of our finances. See the power of this. So there's one tool. Screw the institutions. I mean, if we all were using cryptocurrencies, there would be no Fed, there'd be no banks. The world would change radically. So let's look at the things we can do. We can vote people out. We can use cryptocurrency. It's the cans that we need to focus on. And the things that we don't know what to do with, well, just leave them aside and do the things you can.
Azim is our crypto guy. Do you have any question for that?
Oh yeah. I was going to ask: is Bitcoin going to continuously be the gold standard of cryptocurrencies, or do you see any alternative cryptocurrencies that might come up and take out the crypto market? Or are we just going to be stuck trying to get crypto to $100,000 or Bitcoin to 100,000?
See, okay, the question itself, in the question, is the problem that we have. Is that people look at crypto as a way to get rich. Let's invest in it. Let's buy something and hold it, or buy it and switch it to something else. Nothing wrong with that. However, that way leads to disaster if that's all that we do. Because number one, the fundamental value of the coins will disappear if it cannot be used to buy and sell goods and services. Okay, and number two, we are merely buying into the old system of get rich quick or whatever power down, top down politics, without adding to our freedom. In fact, it will diminish our freedom. Governments will come out with their own, and we'll be buying those. And those they will watch everything that we do. They will invert and pervert the purpose of crypto into one of control rather than one of freedom. So as to Bitcoin, the question, Bitcoin will always be the gold standard. It's not going to be the coin of choice. In fact, it's going to be the main thing that people invest in. But it's certainly not going to be the coin of choice for use. It's an old technology. It does not support, doesn't even support smart contracts, for fuck's sakes, and it's not a privacy coin. If you post your wallet on your Twitter page saying donate here, I can go in and see how much money you have, what comes in and what goes out. No, that can't possibly win. What will win are privacy coins for obvious fucking reasons. Finances should be a very private issue. You work hard for your money, and you should be able to do what you damn well please with it in the privacy of your home or anywhere else, without interference or without observation. So privacy coins will have to be the ones that win. Smart contracts are probably the most powerful tech concept from the blockchain that I've seen, where there's nothing you can't do with them. Whoops. Hang on, okay. So I don't think Bitcoin will be the one, and I'm not even sure any of the existing coins will be the one. Oh, stable coins. Stable coins will certainly always be with us, and they will be the most necessary of the coins. So things like DAI. You can't pump it. Listen, I'm not trying to pump it or anything, because you can't. It is never more than 1 penny more or less than the US dollar. Never. So why is that valuable? Because right now you're in the market and things are getting squirrely. Oh my God, I'm getting out. What do you get out into? Fiat. Why bother? Simply convert them to DAI or some other stable coin. Fiat currency is no longer involved. There you've got your safe haven. You can, safe only to the extent that the US dollar is safe, but better than the market as it currently is. And when did you get back, you convert back. So soon we won't need that at all. But stable coins are going to be a primary part of this collection of coins that will be used. So that's the best I can say on that. And we have time for one more question.
While we're on technology topic, I want to ask you a weird question. Have you ever heard of Rocco's basilisk?
Who?
Rocco's basilisk.
No, I don't get out much. Explain what that is.
I mean, like sometime before there was like a very niche artificial intelligence blog online, and this guy named Rocco posted this theory that in the future, like when AI transcends like human intelligence, it will resimulate like our consciousnesses into like either hell or heaven on the basis of how much effort you've put in to develop this AI throughout your life.
Well, I mean, I'm a technician. From a scientific standpoint, I don't think it's possible, because we live in our own bodies, and you still cannot even identify the source of your own consciousness.
Right.
Give it a try. All right. And is that consciousness going to be some logical program? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think that's going to turn out to be an observer of some kind within you or outside of you that simply is not possible to put into a program or a computer or a construct like AI.
So it will just simulate.
Pardon?
It will just simulate you, but like the point is that simply by posting this theory online, and since the AI will have all the access to the internet,
that's fine. That's fine. They have all access, but a simulation of consciousness is not consciousness, my friend. I'm sorry. That's merely a simulation of such. Consciousness is an entirely different thing. And you're talking about human consciousness and heaven and hell. I think heaven and hell are more likely going to be one of the two following. Number one, AI comes in and it's the panacea that returns us to the Garden of Eden. I think the likelihood of that is very small. For hell, AI is going to be the true measure of humanity, because we create the AI, do we not? And I do not think it is possible to create something that does not have you in it. You built it. I mean, you see it all the time with programming. I mean, I can see angry programmers. I bring a new Samsung TV out, and somehow it just is too fucking hard to deal with. You know, some programmer had a part in that, right? Because what are we as people? You know, we're generous and kind and loving and giving. We're compassionate, and at the same time, we're greedy and jealous.
So it doesn't bother you. It doesn't
Pardon?
bother you that there is a simulated version of yourself in a digital hell somewhere, because you haven't devoted your life to AI.
Because the simulated version of me is not me. Do you understand the difference? And if I'm gone, it won't matter. And if I'm here, it matters even less. My consciousness is something very complex, and so is yours. That simply, you must believe me, dig into it a little, you will see it the chance of it being transmitted or simulated anywhere is not a possibility. Now, you can simulate the effects of consciousness, of course, but my consciousness in a computer, no, my consciousness can't be in a computer. My consciousness can only be with me, and it ceases when I cease.
Do you think the government? Do you think the NAI is more suitable to rule over the government than humans?
No, God, AI would be even worse. Please, God, why? We built the AI, just like we chose who to lead us. Fuck, wake up! No, and so no, it's going to be worse. Anyway, I've had a lot of fun, gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
We did too. Yeah.
Pardon?
No, we had a lot of fun too. So thanks.
It was very enjoyable. Thank you so much.
If you hang out in any chat rooms or blogs or anything where podcasters hang out, pass the word. I will talk to anybody in the podcast world. I don't care how few followers you have. It is no importance to me. All right?
All right.
We'll let you know. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the PAMU podcast. I assume it's the 9th. On a very special episode with John McAfee. Thank you again for coming, for joining us.
Thank you.
Cheers.
All right. Thank you for having me, guys.
Thank you.
And you have a good day. All right.
You too.
I have one question. One question. Okay. The frame and the photograph on the wall behind your right shoulder.
Yeah.
What is that?
That is literally, that's actually my brother's that he had for a long time. It's literally just a chef with like a chocolate cake. It was like nothing.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
I'm gonna keep recording a little bit. I have like post talk. Half an hour? Fucked over, man. But fuck, it was wonderful.
That was You went in deep, man.
Yeah.
I wanted to go in deeper with the fucking Rocco's Basilisk, but he fucking didn't let me finish, but it's fine.
Yeah, no, but I mean, you know.
Ah, man, that was fucking, what an experience to have fucking John McAfee on my computer.
The last question, sorry, no, like the last answer, actually, the one with like heaven and hell, that was actually pretty cool. Even if it was not about Rocco's Basilisk, but you know.
I'm sure that will like rile up a lot of fucking, you know, like reactionaries.
Actually, yeah.
Fuck.
He's not a reactionary. He's like a true progressive if I've ever seen one.
He's real progressive, man.
Yeah.
Progressive. Oh, that was beautiful.
He came on the podcast. He has to be. We have to vote for him. I guess I'm the only one who can vote for him. So.
Yeah.
I'll vote for him in spirit. Yeah.
Pam officially screw Yang Gang. We're complete John McAfee.
John McAfee. He's not afraid of Rocco's Basilisk. I would vote for that. I'm pretty sure Yang is afraid.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is like John McAfee is just like...
He's like, I don't give a fuck.
No.
I don't give a fuck. That's not me. I'm fucking dead.
Dude, he embraces human spirit like no one else I've ever seen. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Well, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna like write in John McAfee at the next either like Mexican or European election, whatever comes first.
Right in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna like. There's gonna be like a Brexit ballot. So like, leave, remain, John McAfee.
Actually, I think he's also a British citizen. So like,
is he?
I mean, yeah. So if Brexit does not happen by some miracle, like maybe he can be like a member of the European Parliament. You know?
Oh fuck! Oh shit!
They just extradite him back to the U.S.
Yeah, what's going on, U.S.? Come on, what a guy! Why are you keeping him out, Hillary? I wanted to ask him a Hillary question.
No, dude.
Yeah.
If we say so, was Epstein suicided?
Oh my God, that would have been amazing.
He probably would have been down to talk for it. He seemed like he was entertaining any question.
He was fucking down for it. I mean, I was fucking freaking out because like right before, I don't know if you remember it, because like I almost fucking called him Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, yeah.
Oh shit! I was freaking out, dude.
John McAfee's like little thing, his square, like popped up right there. I was like, oh my god, this is actually.
As I was saying that I like, I'm like, as I was saying that I'm gonna call him Jeffrey Epstein by accident, he fucking pops up.
Realize how much how starstruck I was. Like,
Yeah,
yeah. Like most of it, I'm just like, is this happening? What?
it totally is. Yeah, fuck. That was great. Well, do you guys have anything else to talk about, or should we close this off? This wonderful fucking episode, a bright new beginning for the PAMU podcast, because a shit ton of people is gonna ask us now.
Yeah.
Like, you were at fucking McAfee, and we're like, fuck yeah, we did.
Unless, of course, John McAfee literally does every single podcast on Earth. You know, so it's no longer cool.
We're one of the first. We take it out first, and we're good.
Yeah, exactly.
First. All right. Oh, man. Wow. Thank you guys for joining us to this wonderful PAMU podcast episode 9, featuring John McAfee. Holy shit. Amazing. How do you feel about that, guys?
He's fucking amazing. He came on the podcast. I don't know what else to say.
Fuck yeah.
Dude, he pops in. He's like, what's up? I'm just like, what?
Yeah. Oh, man.
I was going to be super chill and stuff. But it's like, wait a second.
It just came out of nowhere. And it's like, bam, half an hour. You have half an hour. Throw me some questions. I'm down for some debate.
We went on for more than half an hour. It was a good 45 to like 50 minutes. It was on for...
It was, yeah. Well, anyway, this is probably this is getting boring for our audience. This is like post-production talk. Anyway, thanks for joining us. If you are someone cool, let us know, and you'll come on in, and I'll ask you dumb fucking questions.
I'll probably email you by that time anyways.
Yeah, he's really good at that recently.
Oh wait, Vlad, we're on for tomorrow, right? With with the guys from Rev Memes.
Oh, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Podcast every day.
Cool.
So.
Sure.
We're all getting in the same time, I think, unless the Red Revolutionary Memes wants to come on later in the day.
Well, anyway.
I'll ask them what time works for them. Like, I'll let them know that you're in fucking London. So
yeah.
Take that into account. But
I'm not even gonna cut this part out. I'm just gonna keep it. Anyway, thanks everybody. Get excited for Rev Memes tomorrow. Apparently, I forgot about that. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Goodbye.
Deuces.